This is the Influencer Entrepreneurs Podcast with Jenny Melrose, where I strategize with business owners on how to grow and scale their businesses to hit their income goals. This is episode 219 of the Influencer Entrepreneurs Podcast with Jenny Melrose. Today, I am speaking with Lisa Noble, and we're going to be jumping into defining your brand identity. Now, Lisa, who you're going to hear, I met on Clubhouse. I know, you guys, I am just finding the best people on Clubhouse to come and teach about their level of expertise. If you're not there yet, definitely hop over to Clubhouse. I'm at Jenny Melrose over there. So it is just a great platform to be able to find experts in their industry and are just so willing to help and come and educate. So I'm super excited about this conversation because we're really going to dive into talking about your brand identity and how you can have it on social media. We, of course, jump into Instagram because you know I can't help myself. So what I want you guys to do is, if you would like, because you're going to hear me talk about Instagram stories, Instagram reels, all these different things on Instagram, but if you would like my Instagram engagement guide for free, send me a DM at Jenny_Melrose. Just put it in there, Instagram engagement guide, and I will send that directly to you via DM. All right, let's dive in. Hi, Lisa. Welcome to the podcast. How are you?
Hi, thank you. I feel so good about being here. This is awesome. Thank you for inviting me.
No, I am so excited to be able to dive into this conversation about defining your brand identity, because I really feel like it's something that a lot of us have websites and we've thought about, but we haven't gone totally deep enough that we need to. Before we get into that, though, will you introduce yourself and your business?
Yes, I am Lisa Noble. I am the owner of Vivid Visual Solutions, and we are a brand and marketing agency that help busy female entrepreneurs really get out in front of their audiences and take away some of the stress and overwhelm that they feel in regards to marketing and doing their social media channels. And how we do that is through, we do brand strategy, brand identity creation, as well as website design and social media management. So really, we become like your marketing department.
Okay, I love it. And we are definitely going to jump into talking about just really how we can use that social media, because I know my people's ears probably perked up when they heard social media. Anytime they can get their voice across better to actually stand out, they're all about it. But before we get to that, would you kind of explain, how do we create a brand identity for ourselves? It sounds like such a defined word when we say brand identity. Like I have a little cape on and I'm ready to go.
Well, really, it is the encompassment of all the elements that you need for your brand in order to create the perception of what you do, to show people what you do. Like it could be things like, we definitely need a logo. I think everybody knows that. But then when you get into other things like your business cards or your banners that everybody needs now that we're all on Zoom, you want to get your logo out there and the name of your business out there. But then also, if like you're a boutique brand, are you going to trade shows? Do you have your tablecloth together? Do you have your banner? You really want to stand out in that crowd? Do you have the things that you actually sell? Are they displayed correctly? If you're a service provider, do you have like maybe even Post-it notes with your brand name on it? Do you have your website together? All these things can be part of your brand identity, and it can be unique to whatever industry you're in.
When we talk about brand identity, do you feel that voice also has to come across so that people understand who you are and what they could possibly be getting from you?
Definitely. You want to have a voice, a personality to your business, as well as a great message that you want to get out there, letting them know exactly who you are. And that can start with your pitch. the description on your social media channels, the way that you do your captions on your social media channels, the way that you do your lives, when you do your reels, are they funny or are they more classic and traditional? Are you talking to people? How are you dressing? How are you speaking to them? You have to speak their language so that they know that you're speaking to them.
Yes, I love that you said their language, because it's often we're so much like in it that we forget that we start using these almost like buzzwords that are business terms within our niches. So then we forget about, like, I say webinar, my people go, what in the world? I don't want to do that. That sounds boring. I say workshop and they're like, yeah, I'm in, I'm all about it. Let's go do a workshop.
Exactly.
So it is just knowing that like terminology to use with them. Why is brand identity important, do you feel?
I feel like it's important because you need to stand out against your competition. Like if everybody was really cookie cutter, it would make it very hard for someone to make a decision on if they want to buy this necklace from this boutique, or if they have the right therapist, they have the right person that's going to give them the service that they need. So it's very important for us to show who we are and what we value as entrepreneurs, to show people that, hey, I'm the one that you need to work with, because my message will really resonate with you. How I speak to you will really work for you. We need to get that out to people and let them know. So it's very important to position yourself, to stand out in this whole crowd of entrepreneurs and business owners.
So if we're talking about like being able to have that voice and being able to stand out, really we're talking about like building your brand identity. How do we go about doing that? Let's start, if you don't mind, with social media, because I feel like there's so many people on social media right now, especially after the pandemic, people still at home, everyone's become an influencer, right? We're all over Instagram and TikTok and doing our crazy things.
Yes.
So how do we build that so that we can stand out?
Well, first you have to look at your customer. So is your person actually going on TikTok and watching these things? Are they on Snapchat? What's their age group? You have to look at your ideal customer and first to see where you should be at, where they're hanging out, in order to see where you should focus. And a lot of people really, they're like, oh, I have all this social media, but they never put together their website and create content there that they can actually push on their social media channels, to push them back to find out who they are as a entrepreneur. What are they actually saying? What's their brand voice? Those type of things. They really focus a lot on social media, but they don't find out who they're actually speaking to. So that's the first thing in brand strategy that we work on, finding out what your goals are, finding out what your voice is, and then actually who is your ideal customer and where are they hanging out and how can we speak to them?
Yes. I love that you talk about that, because I think that that is definitely part of where I have gone back and forth. Is I hear, oh, TikTok, 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 TikTok. And when I think of it, I have daughters that are not allowed on TikTok, but their friends are allowed on TikTok. So they all practice TikTok dances. And not my personality. That's just not the way. I'm not one to dance. I just don't get crazy like that for me.
Right.
And I know that about my voice and my personality and how it's going to come across. So I have stayed away from TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
But I think others can find their audience over there, but knowing who they're trying to attract is so important, and a step that's often missed, because I think a lot of times we just put up content and we say, okay, let's see who comes in from this, right? We may not have an audience yet. And then we're attracting everyone, and they're not necessarily in line with our product or service that we're offering, which is then, of course, a problem because we're not making any money.
Right. And then you can look at the things that you've done on social media and see who it resonated with, who's commenting. Look at that information and say, okay, so she looks like she's my ideal customer, and she really liked this, and there's a bunch of people exactly like her who actually commented on this. Then I need to do more of this. I might not need to put forth my efforts towards this other stuff. I really need to focus on these type of things because I know my audience likes that and they're actually engaging with me. That's the thing. You can have a lot of people coming on, but if they're not engaging, if they just follow, then they're not worth it.
Yes, I actually am going to go take us on a little bit of a rant here, only because you brought up the piece about looking and seeing who's engaging and understanding what content they're drawn to. And what I think a lot of influencers and bloggers have the bad habit of doing is thinking that Instagram pods are the best thing ever because they're going to show engagement that way. And when they start talking about it, my eyes get as big as saucers. And I'm like, please don't ever do that, because what they don't understand is, yeah, sure, you're trying to get your content and show that there's engagement, but that's not telling you anything about your people. And then Instagram just shows it to other food bloggers that isn't your audience either. So I think I had to just make sure I kind of hit on that, because just recently did a presentation last week and someone asked about, let's do an engagement pod, like over in the comments. And I literally stopped my presentation virtually. And I'm like, no one's doing engage-ment pods. That's not allowed. Like, no, ever.
And you have to, go ahead.
No, please, you go. Sorry.
Well, I was just going to say, yeah, you can have this whole engagement pod and you can get all these followers, but if they never purchase from you, are they worth it? So you have a bunch of followers that are not spending any money with you. And what we are is we are entrepreneurs who are in business. And the whole thing about this whole thing is to make money. So if they're not spending, it's not worth it.
That's right. 100%. I can, like, I'm just hands up. Totally agree with this. Like, my people know, like, this is my whole thing. You have to have engagement. You got to know your people. And I think a lot of them start off with, I'm just going to create content and I don't know how I'm going to monetize. A lot of bloggers have a bad habit of doing that. And then for 2 years, 3 years down the road, their husband is saying, why are you spending all this time on your blog? You're not making any money. And then they say, oh, I should probably figure out what I should be creating. Meanwhile, we wasted 2 to 3 years just putting up random content. So I think the fact that you first talked about, like, really truly knowing your ideal person and where they are, and also how are you going to monetize? How are you making your money? Like, you're a business. You need to know how you're going to make money.
Exactly. Yes.
100%. So how do we combine our brand identity with strategy?
Well, first off, you have to do the strategy in the beginning in order to know where you're going. You have to know who the ideal customer is. What's our goals? Are we creating any digital products? How are we going to get those digital products out there? Where are they going to be housed? Or even if you are a brick and mortar, who are we? Like, if we're a restaurant, who are we servicing? What does that whole piece look like? What will they see when they come into the actual brick and mortar location? Those things have to be figured out and then created. The assets need to be created. The signage needs to be created. All these things need to be created. Then we're going into more of a brand marketing strategy. Okay, so now that we've created this beautiful thing, how are we going to get it out to the masses? Is it that our people are on Instagram? Should we be creating ads? Should we be creating Facebook posts because they're on Facebook? Should we go on Clubhouse, where you and I met, Jenny? Should we start talking on Clubhouse and really getting our voice out there so that people can see that we're an expert in our field? Should we go on podcasts and talk to people like you, who are giving people like me an opportunity to talk to your audience? All those things start coming into play once things are created. We have our product that we can put out there, our digital product or service, and we're marketing it.
Yes. And I think one of the things that we've been talking about a ton for 2021 is setting yourself up as that expert that you just talked about, right? Like, doing podcasts, doing Clubhouse, being seen in a role where you're educating and you're helping people solve their problem. I think that is where it's really at, and where you can start to see, okay, I'm educating people and then I'm going to offer a service or a product that's in line with that. So the money can easily flow towards you because you've set it up so that you've put yourself being able to help them solve a problem, because really that's what it should be about, whether you are product based or you're service based or you're even a blogger that's creating content should always be about serving and solving that problem.
Yes, because that's what people are really coming to you for. It's all about me. You know, if I'm looking for something, it's because I need it. If I'm looking for a solution, it's because it's to help me or my family or whatever. That's the only reason. That's the trigger for me to go out and actually look for the solution, is because I need it.
Yes, and to solve that problem. Absolutely. So how can we incorporate this brand identity into more of like the social media? Obviously, we're going to be doing it by going into the different platforms that our audience is on. Have you found that there's certain platform? Well, no, I'm not going to ask that. But have you found there's certain ways in which you can use social media to talk to your audience better than others? Does that question make sense?
Well, of course, on Instagram, a lot of people are using stories because people seem to like to go in, in the beginning of the day, you just go in and you check out people's stories. It's a little snippet of the behind the scenes that people really, really resonate with. And Reels, people are really engaging with those, and Instagram is pushing those a lot. So that's something that you may want to try and figure out whether it works for your industry and for your customer. But of course, now with Clubhouse seems to be just this massive game changer right now, where we can go on and we can talk to people. I think it's 1 million people now, and you can kind of do a master class for someone and really show your expertise, whether you have a small audience or you have a large audience. It seems to really be helping with engagement and getting people over to your Instagram, because that's the link that you have, Instagram and Twitter. So getting them into those DMs and having these personal conversations with them, I think is very helpful.
Yes, no, absolutely. And I think in the beginning when I was in Clubhouse, because of the things that I was interested in as far as digital marketing and email automation and all these things, those were the types of people I followed. So that's what I saw in my hallway, right? We talked about Clubhouse. And I think I'm seeing more and more people come into that are from all different niches, all different industries, whether it's a nutritionist or a mom talking about postpartum or a mom trying to figure out better parenting activities and strategies for their kids. And I'm noticing rooms like that. I've actually had a food blogger client that was talking about, it was like a recipe share. Like people were able to come in and find vegan recipes, and I had it linked going out to like a separate website where all of these recipes then could easily be linked to and be found.
Yeah.
So people are definitely making that. It's so easy. I love the fact there's no video. I can do it whenever I want.
Yeah, you could just wake up.
Yes, it's so easy to just hop in and like listen to a conversation, and you can get involved or not. And I also love that you talked about Instagram stories and Reels, because we've had so many conversations on the podcast about how I love stories and it's an easy way to do it. Yeah. And of course, with Reels, so this is a question that I have, because I know this is a struggle for me, is that I feel funny in front of the camera trying to do something so quick and so cutesy. Like I don't want to be pointing up to work. I feel like it's been overdone.
Yeah.
Do you have any suggestions for someone to follow or a way in which to use Reels so that it's not just the goofy dancing?
So what I've seen, yes, and I understand, because I'm not really the dancer type that gets on Reels either. So what I have seen, because I've really been checking it out, what's really good is you can use those same tips that we've been putting into our imagery. Like say if you do a carousel, and I don't know if everybody's familiar with carousels, but a carousel is an image of 10 slides basically, and you might be putting tips on there, you might be putting quotes on there, those type of things. You can also put those in your Reels and just add music, make it, a little more animated. You can even get involved in you can say it if you like getting on camera. You can talk about the tips or talk about a article that might have resonated with you. So it's like just getting a little more personal with it, but you can take the same things that you've created in imagery and put it into a reel.
Yes. And I love that because it does, like the brand identity piece that we're talking about. My brand identity does not include me dancing like a fool, pointing at things. That's just not part of who
Right.
I think people would freak out if they saw that, being like, what is wrong with her? What has she been doing tonight?
Yes.
So yes, I love that suggestion. That's so good. Yeah.
And again, using your brand colors, like your brand colors are the beautiful teal, white, and what is it, black? So you can use those colors within your reels as your backgrounds or things like that. You might be playing with your dog or playing with your baby, those type of things. Bring those into your reels.
Yes, such a good suggestion, and something so easy to do that it doesn't take that long to do it. It's part of the reason I have the setup that you can see that, of course, podcast listeners are like, what is she talking about? Yeah. But yeah, it's to create that pull and that brand identity. So I love it. You have something special for my audience.
Yes, I do. So during my brand strategy sessions, what I start off with is a brand audit. And it is a report that comes out that gives you like a letter grade on the things that you may need improvement on or the things that you're doing really well with. So it looks at your social media. It looks at your website. It looks at the reviews that you may have out there that you may have even forgotten. It looks at the listings that you have out there to show where you could improve. It gives you like little ideas on how to improve these things, even your SEO, to bring more people into your funnel, to bring more people to your website, to help once they get there, to convert them into actual clients or customers. So what I'm offering is a coupon code, and it is, let me look down in my notes so I say it correctly, Vivid Brand 50. So I'm giving a $50 off of a Vivid Brand audit. And I don't know if you can put like a link to the landing page that I have for it, and you can just type in that code and you'll get $50 off of your brand audit. And then you just get on a call with me and we put your information in, and you have that to take to your website designer, or you can take it to your social media manager, or take it on as something that you need to do yourself and make those changes.
I love it. We are going to make sure to link to that in the show notes, the website, as well as we'll have the code there for anyone. Can you repeat the code one more time, just in case someone's walking and they want to like quickly go over to it?
Yes, Vivid Brand 50, and that is VIVID and 50.
Okay, all one word.
All one word, Vivid Brand 50, capital letters.
Perfect. We will make sure that is in the show notes for everyone else. Where are the best places to connect with you?
You can connect with me on my Instagram at Vivid Visual Solutions. If you're on Clubhouse, I am Lisa M. Noble. Or you can also find me on Facebook at Vivid Visual Solutions.
Perfect. We will also be linking to those in the show notes as well. Lisa, I appreciate you so much for taking the time to speak with me and my audience.
As well.
Of course. So glad.
Thank you. This was awesome. Thank you so much.
Of course.
All right, you guys, there you have it. Lisa was so fabulous in making sure that we really understood our brand identity and how we could use it on social media. She also is offering up that $50 off of her brand audit. So if you haven't had a chance to take advantage of that and hop over to her website, please make sure that you do. You can also, like she said, connect with her on social media, as well as if you would like me to send you that coupon code, please feel free to DM me on Instagram at Jenny_Melrose. You guys, I appreciate all of you so much for all those who have put in a review for me on iTunes. It helps, like I've said in the past, for me to be able to get great guests. When I find someone in Clubhouse that I feel is going to be an expert and be able to really educate you all on something, it makes it so much easier for them to agree to come on when they see the reviews posted over there. So if you haven't already, please fill out a review on iTunes with a rating and review. All right, you guys, until next time, I will see you all then.